With Gina.
The news with Gina Grad.
So there is so much more coming out today on this crazy college scandal scheme craziness.
Put it in my veins.
I am just going to give you everything that is just sort of was bombarded online this morning.
Now,
There's
this
a few
is
different
us.
facets.
This is us just loving it, but there's no. I mean,
It affects almost none of us.
I'm trying to think how outraged I am. I'm always just pissed at my own parents. Like, there's no way Dad would have cut a check for me, and I never even took the SATs.
That's the thing. For you, you have to be so deeply heartbroken that no one would ever go to these lengths for you.
I'm one of the few people I know who's never taken the SATs.
I didn't either.
Oh, you never took?
Well,
You
you
went to
have to.
college.
ACT.
Because in the University of Kansas, if you're a Kansas resident, you are admitted to the school.
Even if you're dope.
Yep.
Wow.
Especially,
Same thing with
if you're
Ohio.
dope. Really?
Ohio State.
Well,
back in the day, they're like, we got to take
Did
it.
you have a special dopey entrance? Like, welcome
Kinda.
idiots, coming
you know
down.
What, though? Honestly,
Welcome buffoons.
Honestly, I really.
Higher door jams for the dunce cap. You got to accommodate that dunce
It's a
cap.
cutout triangle.
Yeah, it's a triangle cutout. Right.
I will tell you personally, socially and emotionally, I didn't think I was ready to go off to college. I just wasn't. And a lot of people I knew didn't go. And I thought, you know what? I can go a half hour away. I can try this and make this work. And I loved it. But yeah, I wasn't the kid that was like, oh my God, I want to go to, Berkeley and I don't have the grade. I just wasn't ready for all of that.
But you have to graduate high school.
Yes.
And other than that, you have to carry some kind
Probably
of
a certain
GPA,
minimum.
right?
Probably. I mean, I wasn't a moron. I knew I didn't have to take it.
Man.
How dare you?
All right.
All right.
This scam is the craziest thing ever.
I'm
Yeah.
loving
Is
it.
the craziest thing ever.
I have facets of this story that are you just strap in because I have like 3 pages of this. So TMZ, first of all, reports that Felicity Huffman knew she was a target of the federal investigation in the bribery scandal, but she had no idea that 7 federal agents would show up at her door Tuesday morning with their guns drawn. Sources familiar with the arrest told TMZ that 7 FBI agents showed
Roger
up.
Stone's got to feel a lot better.
Yep,
right now.
at Hollywood Hills, 6 a.m., weapons out.
This thing where we have to do it in the pre-dawn hours or whatever, and we
we
have to
don't.
all show up with
Yep.
our Uzis. Like, it really, well, we got to, it's a show. Well, there's 2 things they go, well, listen, we have one standard mode for showing up at people's house, and that's full raid on fucking Entebbe. And it's like, you got a middle-aged actress. Could you dial it in a little bit? It's like, no, we have raid on Entebbe.
Well-
we have Hueys in the air. We have Marines sliding down zip cords. It's like, why don't you tailor make it for every suspect so that we would have a little nuanced difference between the Silence of the Lambs guy who had the pit with the senator's daughter in it and then the middle-aged actress from the Desperate Housewives?
Yeah.
Could we do...
With William H. Macy and 2 daughters sleeping.
Why don't we do that?
That'd be nice.
We're allowed to do that. Can we not do that?
Well,
No,
the
you
FBI...
got to go full on Entebbe.
Full Entebbe.
I want frogmen in the pool.
I think they know what a badass William H. Macy is. Oh, probably not.
They did say that it's up to the FBI's discretion.
Well, this is my whole point. Like, when you go, what do you want to do? And they go, well, let's go full raid on Entebbe. Let's get the flak jacket and the grenade launcher.
So they took her to a federal building where she was processed by marshals. The indictment claims...
Also, don't we know where you live? Like, couldn't we send you a summons?
Yeah.
Were you going to start a new life in Mexico? Like, hey, start building the El Chapo tunnel. I'm getting plastic surgery. I'm going over there. I'm going to be the star of Univision. I got my Berlitz taped. Let's go.
Telemundo.
Get the mask. Get the duffel bag. Get Kardashian and get. Oh, wait
AC.
a minute. Hey, get AC in the Bronco and let's go. Like, we know where you live.
Yeah. It shouldn't
Come
be
on
this-
in and surrender yourself.
Well, so because this happened to Felicity Huffman, Lori Loughlin got wind of this, from Aunt Becky from Full House.
Also, why do I even need you to surrender yourself? Like, this was a transaction. I'll send a few guys by at noon, make up a pot of coffee, and they're going to take some notes. Like, we want to know what
And they're going to tell you, we're on to you, you're in big trouble.
Right.
That's it.
Oh no, this goes way
Let's hear it.
deeper. So then Lori Loughlin ended up turning herself in Wednesday morning because she was lucky enough to be shooting in Vancouver when they swatted her house and pulled her husband out of the house. And she said, I'll be there. I'll come in on my own. So now Lori's husband, Felicity, both out on bail. Now, about this guy, about this ringleader, his name is William Rick Singer, and he's basically the guy behind this $25 million college scheme that has worked with more than 750 families.
Okay, so that's my question. Why is everyone? I understand the salacious part of the celebrities.
It's the Robert Kraft whip into a frenzy.
Yeah, focusing on Lori Loughlin and Felicity Huffman, but like there's. Well, to your point, Michael, there's probably a lot more CEOs and just rich people and just a lot more.
And Singer himself, we'll get into that in a moment, but he pleaded guilty in a Boston federal court to racketeering, money laundering, conspiracy, and obstruction of justice. He said on a phone recording to the FBI.
Racketeering. I'm filing it under casualty and garnishing your wages for something that sounds cool. I'm a racketeer. He's the king of the handball. The court's king of the racquetball. Like nobody.
Are you a raconteur? Are you a conversationalist?
I can be about my racketeering.
You want me to serve? Or you want to serve? You want to volley for serve?
I'm played tennis.
Racketeer.
Decades.
Sounds like a sort of part Three Musketeer. And
Mouseketeer.
It's something.
Marvel's the Racketeer.
Yeah.
It's very swashbuckling.
Sounds better than it is.
It is.
I shouldn't be here. I'm a racketeer.
He said
Let me out of this cell.
He facilitated a side door to admission for 761 people.
Jesus.
He's 58. He faces a maximum of 65 years if convicted. But I think he might be very ego-driven because he said, I am absolutely responsible for this. I put everything in place. I put all people in place and made the payments directly. He's taking full responsibility, but it does kind of seem very showboaty. Yeah. So there's more, and we kind of went into that yesterday. But now here's something else that showed up on TMZ today. TMZ just posted a video of Singer, who he pulled all the strings in this massive case, auditioning for his own reality show back in 2010, a reality show on the pressures of family trying to get their kid into colleges. So he's been doing this for a while. TMZ obtained the audition tape, which was shot by a production company, submitted to a network. It was never sold. Nobody was into it. As TMZ reported, Singer copped a plea. He faces all these charges. This is a 2.5-minute video. I'm just going to let you watch until you're sick of it because it's pretty entertaining.
Is there such a thing as these two actresses and nobody else in the community? I feel like everything.
760 families. That's a long shot.
I feel like there has to be other notable people.
Because I think
this group.
Everybody is terrified now in this community.
How did these two names? Did they release all 761 names?
No.
I was going to say because that's insane that no other name would be notable in some other aspect of business or something.
Right. And so there's a little bit more, but like say, and remember when you asked specifically about how they were getting in as athletes?
Mm-hmm.
So I read another article that said there's a lot of photoshopping. There's a lot of staged photos. They allege that Lori Loughlin's daughter was going to take fake pictures as the coxswain for the crew team at the LA Mariners Club or whatever. They photoshopped people's faces onto different athletes' bodies.
That's brazen too, because Lori Loughlin's daughter is kind of well known.
Yeah, she's like a
YouTube star. She's like an influencer.
Well, at a certain point, isn't it less trouble just to join the goddamn crew team? When you start getting into, we had to go in front of a cyclorama that we rented from. We went on to the Disney lot in Tampa.
Balls all over my body.
I was suspended with cables.
We had a green screen. We hired Industrial Light and Magic.
Or you just join the goddamn crew team.
Earns a crew scholarship.
I saw some kid today had his head photoshopped on a pole vaulter.
Yes, exactly.
What happens when you show up? You guys might have got into this yesterday, but it's like, what happens when you show up and it's first day of pole vaulting?
Well, that
practice?
was part of the problem. And they're claiming, and I guess I get it. I mean, you watch enough TV or you know a certain type of person. Most of these kids didn't know this was happening. When it was just about changing their grades later, that was on the parents.
That's my thought. To your point about Adam, about like how much trouble is this worth? Like at a certain point, it's just all about the parents. Like the kid doesn't care if they go to Yale or whatever. It's like the parent. It matters to the guy in business. Like my son's going to Stanford.
I'm thinking about my own scholastic career and my parents and what possible tampering could have happened, but since my grades were so low, they could have only lowered them. So remember I started the show by saying, why was I such a bad student? I'm so bright.
Maybe you were such a bad student.
I think my parents may have rounded down.
Yeah, they were down-rounders.
Jim Carolla, I did see him snooping around the school at lunch one day, and I was very suspicious.
Getting chummy with the dean.
Yeah.
I believe Adam got a D on this paper.
Looks like a B to me, Mr. Carolla.
It has an envelope. That's a D.
Jesus. Sounds like heavy change in here, Mr. Carolla. Those are mostly quarters.
Indeed.
Well, did you indeed with a indeed? Yes, I'll turn that indeed into a D. Thank you very much. By the way, tell the missus the Brownies were delightful at the open house.
So check out this audition tape. I mean, again, we can watch as much as we want, but he's been doing this for quite some time.
This is a game. Just realize that this is a game. The things that I see on a daily basis are amazing what's going on in people's homes across the country. My name is Rick Singer. My job is to life coach kids and families through the whole process of getting into college. It's unbelievable. It is so competitive to get your kid into school today. Everybody loves their children, but they don't like them every day. And mom and dad are over here just stressed out. We want it done now. This is how you do it. This is who I want you to see. And the kids are like, whoa, this is my life. This process brings out all the good and a lot of the bad that goes on in the family's home.
He's not going to do well on the joint.
Absolutely. No. Saturday night, it's an amazing night. Why? Because mom and dad go to a dinner party. They hear about every kid who's getting into this school, going to this summer program, doing this, doing that. Sunday morning, my phone rings off the hook. Why? How come we're not doing this? I heard this kid has a 3.4 and they're going to get into Harvard. How come we're not doing this and that? They're out of control. They wake up their kid at 7 a.m. on a Sunday morning saying, come on, we got to go. All
right, I've seen enough.
Yeah, he talks about how he's constantly being flown around on private jets and settling family disputes, and I guess he just found a way to make a better mousetrap.
My list of guys I can't hang with, guys that explain things or games that aren't games. Like if you say basketball's a game, I'm with you. I go, dating? It's one big game. It's just a game. It's a game, and you got to play it right. Like
there's rules to the game.
Getting into Brown or Yale, that's a game, and you got to play that game. Like those guys always bother me because they're sort of doing a thing which is I know more than you because it's a game, and you don't know it's a game.
Right,
you're taking it seriously.
But it's a game,
and it's kind of cousin to the other guy you hate. Of he's going to screw you. You try and screw him first.
To get him.
Yeah,
this is going to be a great movie someday.
It's going to be a TV movie. It's not going to be a blockbuster, is it?
It's going to be a Lifetime miniseries.
If I, Tonya was a blockbuster, this has potential.
Is he the new Jordan Belfort?
Oh, this would be a great Leonardo DiCaprio character.
Yeah,
I would love to. It's going to be fun to see who comes out on this, and it's perfect timing because we're so into the haves and the have-nots, and you're using your power and your wealth, and this is how it works.
This is Molly's game. You know what I mean? This is essentially Molly's game.
It's
great movie.
Yeah, it's perfect, but at least Molly's game was rich people gambling their own thing away. Like I'm weird with the law. Like I'm not interested in her. I'm not interested in these people. But we have a theme, and the theme is these have-nots over here can't get ahead because these folks who have everything are hoarding everything and they're rigging the system. Yeah. And everyone is like, or you could just get to work and shut up. And now it's like, we have proof. They're rigging it.
Yep.
I had the same thought as you about what are they in trouble for? The Felicity Huffmans and the Lori Loughlin's of the world. What are they actually in trouble for? I heard a story that they would part of the machinations of their scams was they would make these outlandish charitable contributions that were de facto payments, and then they would write off these non-charitable as charitable. So there's some sort of fraud there.
And the Human Fund on Seinfeld, where that money was going was to the coaches and to the
deans, a de facto payment.
And to the exactly.
Yeah.
It's conspiracy to commit mail-and wire fraud.
The other thing, too, is the modality of which your travel that your payment traveled, I'm not that interested. Like, well, this person's in trouble. Why? Because they put it in the mail. It's like, okay, so if they use a carrier pigeon, it'd be no problemo.
Pigeon fraud.
No, once they drop it in the mail, it's a federal crime. Now the RICO Act kicks in, and it's like
crazy
because they put it in an envelope. Like, oh no, now we got a serious issue.
Use what? Forever stamp?
This affects parts of Canada now, and it's like, why? Well, they put it in the mail because once it goes in the mail, I'm like, okay, I'm a little more of what they did, not how they got the message across.
I used to be on this show, World's Dumbest, right? World's Dumbest Criminals,
right.
And they had security tape of this guy trying to break into a stamp machine. He broke into the stamp machine and got like $1.25 in quarters, but because it was a stamp machine, federal crime. It was like
right.
That's good stuff.
So the candy machine or the vending machine with the soda pop in it, should we draw such a wild distinction between him getting a Fresca or him getting stamps? But no, now we got the feds, and it's like. Okay, why are we doing this? Much like the guy showing up at the house with the assault rifles. Like, I don't know. I feel like we could figure out what they did wrong and punish them, but it doesn't matter that they dropped it in the mail.
Hot tip to all of the convenience store workers listening, all the gas station owners listening. If you're being robbed, right, put all the money in the bag. Give me the throw in a few stamps. You get the feds involved.
Great idea.
You're gonna get that case
commemorative Elvis stamps.
Yeah, the local cops are gonna hands off.
Have a combo hat stamp dispenser. You have to wear that every day to work.
I want to do a TV show called Waiting for a Bus on the same bench, and we get the professor who was at the convention who said third floor ladies lingerie, and he got fired from his job, and then we have Ray Rice, and they sit next to each other and they go, what happened? Trouble in an elevator.
Trouble.
What'd you do? Oh man!
Don't get me started. I don't know if I should say it.
I punched out my gal. And so we put them next to each other, right?
Yep.
All right, I'm going to tell you who my next episode is. You got to tell me Felicity Huffman's daughter's name or Lori Laughlin's daughter's name.
Her daughter's Olivia Jade.
We'll figure that out.
That is her.
I mean, I have no idea.
Stage
Super
name,
creepy for you to know. Olivia Jade Giannelli. Yeah. She's on the bench. She's sitting on that bench. She's been booted out of USC.
I think, yeah.
Sitting next to her, member of the Duke lacrosse team. What happened? I got booted out of school.
Girl.
Why'd you get booted out of school? My celebrity mom greased a palm. What'd you do? I was accused of rape by an insane woman who committed suicide later.
And a crooked
shot her
DA.
boyfriend and a DA who would literally put a target on my back and ran us all out and ruined my life.
I pretended to be a coxswain.
Yeah.
Same.
But yet we ended up on the same bench, didn't
Here
we?
we are.
Here we are.
Yeah.
My family lost everything to pay for my defense. How about you? My mom's in a Lifetime movie.
We're going to be okay.
All right, what else?
All right,
we got?
well, this is breaking as of Wednesday. Fox News reports that President Trump said the FAA will announce the grounding of two Boeing 737 MAX jets, one model of which was involved in a fatal Ethiopian Airlines crash, killed 157 people.
Wasn't that Travolta's kid's name, Max Jess?
77.
Something like that.
727.
Trump said that it's going to be both the Boeing 737 MAX 8 and the MAX 9. They'll be grounded upon landing at their destinations. He said that both pilots and airlines have been notified, and many places.
Like when they land, right now there's a plane full of people, just like,
It's a tough mid-air announcement. Folks, this plane has been grounded.
Well, and it's not, and to be specific, they're not like land wherever you can. It's just when you get to your destination, we're taking these out of commission for a while. And many places have taken to grounding these planes or not letting them fly over their airspace everywhere. Europe, China, South Korea,
Is
India.
it an Airbus company who makes these
Boeing.
things? Oh, Boeing.
737.
And we were sort of the last.
737, yeah.
We were sort of the last to go. The jury's still out. We don't know. And once Canada said, "Do whatever you want, America, but you're not flying over our airspace," we finally said, "Okay, fine." So just to get a little more information on this, because it is still new and it's still a little confusing. Here's what aviation analyst Kyle Bailey had to say about the possible systems errors, and he said this on Fox.
It's looking like on this airplane, again, this is just speculation, it's very early. I think the communication between the sensors and the airspeed indicator, which is the pitot tube, and the angle of attack indicator, which basically tells you the climb angle when you're taking off, to prevent a stall. They're communicating. So if the backup system senses an imminent stall, which is the airplane literally will lose lift and part of it will fall out of the sky, a wing will drop and could crash, it will actually do what's called it will push the nose over to increase airspeed. So if that happened, these pilots could have been struggling to pull back on the controls, but you're very low and you have terrain below you.
What about...
And build that well. Every pundit on everything, even if they're talking about air safety,
right.
if he's on MSNBC, he's got to end it with the impeach Trump. Yep. Thank you. Any more questions about commercial air travel? I'll be right for you.
Yeah. So if you could hear overall the nerd chanting, he's basically saying that the systems may have just told the plane it was about to go down and made all these corrections, and the pilot's trying to sort of fight with the plane as it's dealing with that.
Well, we're all sort of in that spot in history where we're going, well, what if our smartphone is listening to us? Or what if our car, what if someone else is telling our self-driving car where to go without us? But these planes are getting pretty smart.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of computers running these planes, and a lot of fly-by-wire, as they say. What if some horrible Chinese hackers or something are telling airplanes what to do?
That's what Trump said, right? Wasn't his quote something like, these planes are getting more...
Too complex.
Yeah, too complex.
Like
more sophisticated, basically, than they need to be.
Well,
in that sense.
To me, the sophistication in a car, in an airplane, it's all great as long as we don't go faster than what we've realized what could happen, which of course we're always going to do from a technological standpoint. We're just going to go, but could somebody hack into the system of the plane and do something, whatever, or hold it hostage, fly it in a circle until you delivered $10 billion.
You're not far off.
That's Die Hard 2.
Not far off. Those days are coming.
That's Die Hard 2.
Yeah.
That's the exact plot.
And my Navigeddon.
Yeah.
It's getting close.
That's very scary and very possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So good news for you, Adam. Your sloth in one area is really paying off.
Thank you.
All the rest, not so much.
So Brian encouraged you, some would say challenged you to watch The Dark Knight. You have not watched it yet, correct?
That's correct.
Good. Don't.
What?
Because I have an even better offer for you. Warner Brothers
is it coming back in IMAX?
Announced that all three of Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight films will return to 5 IMAX theaters starting right here in LA later this month. The first back-to-back screenings of Batman Begins, that's from 2005, Dark Knight 2008, and The Dark Knight Rises 2012 will take place March 30th at Hollywood's Universal Cinema AMC at City Walk. Christopher Nolan will join the audience for a little Q&A. And the trilogy will then head to New York, then San Francisco, Toronto, Indianapolis. All screenings will feature the footage of Nolan's LA Q&A. All 5 showings will screen on 70 millimeter, which is Nolan's favorite high-resolution format.
You're in for a treat, man. You live kind of, relatively close to
City
Universal.
Walk.
Goes a lot closer to your old house, but still.
Could go to that. So which one should I see?
Dark Knight.
Yep.
You really should see all of them, but Dark Knight's the one.
Batman Begins. I would see that one. That's a good way to get your toe in.
They're all good.
Dark Knight will haunt you.
Dark Knight's a damn masterpiece.
Christopher Nolan takes the very brave stance as a writer, to pretend it's real.
Yes.
That's what I said.
It's not rocket science. When you write these things, when you write these big movies, step 1, pretend it's real and go from there.
I agree.
And that's what's great about Batman Begins. Like, wow, if this was real, this is what a dude would do. It all makes sense. It's wonderful. You're never sitting in the theater going, that could never happen.
It's the most plausible superhero movie ever made. Probably
Absolutely.
the only one.
Okay. I shall watch.
Take the boy.
All right, let's do one more, Gina Grad.
All right.
How do I even explain that to him?
He's going to want to be the Gimp for Halloween.
What's a Gimp?
He's also, he sees scary movies and he gets scared that night. So I don't know what the hell a Gimp's going to do to him. All right. Sorry.
Okay. Well, according to a new study, LA has the most aggressive drivers in the nation, and kind of by far. The Gas Buddy app has an opt-in feature that allows you to track your driving habits, and the company analyzed data tracking speeding, hard braking, and swift acceleration. 4 of the top 6 are in California, so we have LA.
Sacramento. Sorry. Can I say, is it this? Is this the deal? So, if you grow up in a house where there's a pantry and plenty of food and mom's making pot roast every other night and everything like that, you don't have this, there's not a sense of desperation when it comes to food. Yeah. Now, I didn't have food in my house and I was desperate. And so, on the rare occasion I would show up to somebody, friend of mine, her dad owned 55 McDonald's and there was a tennis club and we could go there and they had a Sunday brunch and they had a waffle station and they had an omelet station. I'd go, give me 28 waffles, give them all to me. And I'd go nuts because it was like, oh my God, never see this again.
Yup.
And I felt that way when I went to my friend's house and I'd open the pantry. It's like, you got instant pudding. Let's make pudding. And they'd be like, we're going to go in the backyard. I go, no, we got to make pudding before your parents come home. Desperate. So when I drive, everyone who drives in LA, it's traffic, more traffic, and then it opens up.
And you go.
And when it opens up, it's like I gotta make up.
Yep. I gotta feel this again.
I gotta make up, and also I'm late because I've been sitting here like a sardine for 45 minutes, and now I gotta go hard.
Yep, I think you're right.
Because like in Montana, you just go drive over there and you drive back. You know, you don't have what time we go. We gotta go hard.
It's amazing. Like you go on the road. Yeah, you're doing shows everywhere.
Sure.
But when you go to these other towns and you realize how easy it is to get from point A to point B, you're absolutely right. You just can kind of mosey over.
Yeah.
Right.
It takes 20 minutes. Mosey on over. But here, man, you got to get while the getting's good.
Yeah, California, we have LA, Sacramento, San Francisco, and San Diego. The other cities around the country that round out the top 10 are Philadelphia, Atlanta, Orlando, Florida, Detroit, Austin, Texas, and Vegas. I imagine that's the tourist traffic. People driving from LA.
Oh, right. All right, let's bring her home.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
Gina Grad. That was the news with Gina Grad.